All right, let's go to, why don't we go? We've got a lot of interesting phone numbers here. Let's try going to the 317 area code. Who's calling today from 317?
Hello.
Yes, that's you.
Hi, David. Thanks for taking my call. I was just wondering if Bernie dropped out of the race, do you think that Elizabeth Warren would have the presidency or the Democratic nomination on lockdown?
You know, the math of it is not that clear because the when you look at the second choices for the supporters of the different candidates, it's not that obvious that that's the way it would go. Let me see if I pull up the Morning Consult 2020 state of the Democratic Party. If you said if Bernie dropped out, would it go to Warren, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the number two choice for Sanders supporters is actually Biden over Warren. So, but it's almost 50-50. So it seems if Bernie dropped out, that Biden and Warren would basically share her support. So the math of it is not super clear to me.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, very good. You can look that up on Morning Consult in case you're curious.